Our first visit is to the northern city of Bradford, which was operating trolleybuses and indeed was Britain's last trolleybus operator. They ceased running in 1972. This is an ex-London bus, just to make me feel at home on that day. This is a Bradford tram, which they rescued from a football stadium and restored and actually ran it. And this is another car stored in the same works, which eventually went to Christ's Tramway Museum. It's outside Thornaby Depot, 300 miles to the south in the town called Hastings, which had a well-kept trolleybus system. They also restored this original 1928 trolleybus, at first for a 1953 coronation, but then they kept it in service as a novelty. Now it has been converted to a diesel bus that has an outing from time to time. We had a trolleybus tour over routes that weren't used too much, hence the flashing and arcing. At one time in Britain, the trolleybus was going to be the all-conquering vehicle replacing every tram. But surprisingly, the trolleybuses are dead at the moment in Britain, and the tram system still survives, i.e. Blackpool. Most trolleybus systems lasted till the 60s, and then there was a sudden craze to abandon them. We called in at Derby. Now, we got so used to seeing Derby trolleybuses we took them for granted. And then one day coming back from Christ's, we saw a route with all the overhead cut down, and we thought, oh dear, Derby trolleybuses are going, we better take some film. The building in the background on this shot was demolished and re-erected at Christ's Tramway Museum. It's the Derby Assembly Rooms, which was a listed building. These vehicles were painted in a light creamy colour and a dark bottle green, and they had a rather complicated system of circular routes where a vehicle would stop halfway, change its number and go back to town or something else. And we thoroughly confused the Indian conductor by wanting to ride the whole route from the town centre out to the suburbs and back to the town again, which apparently people don't do. Most of the routes run out to housing estates, and we're visiting Walsall, in which the trolleybus system was just about to close. A somewhat odd design of vehicle, built in 1954 with double reduction gearing so they sounded like trams, known locally as goldfish bowls. The diesel bus coming behind in immaculate condition is a Birmingham Corporation one. Birmingham are well known for keeping their vehicles in spotless condition. Although they don't look it, these vehicles are 8 foot wide and 30 foot long. See the trolleybus sign on the front, but the legal requirement in England was to display a trolleybus sign at the back to prevent a trolleybus driver trying to overtake a vehicle of his own type, of course, with disastrous results if he tried it. On that bus, the coat of arms has been painted out. I think Walsall trolleybuses were a separate corporation system, but shortly before this film was taken, they'd all been absorbed in the West Midlands area, which included Birmingham. A lot of the routes were joint worked anyway. At this time, I believe there were only 3 trolleybuses or systems running: Walsall, Teesside and Bradford. Bradford survived for another 2 years. This film was made in 1970. This route, I would imagine, would have been constructed as late as the 1950s. Again, an industrial city, but unlike Sheffield, trams didn't choose a really attractive livery. It was a darker blue than Bradford trolleybuses and soon became somewhat scruffy. Back into the centre of town with a trolleybus only road. Very scruffy trolleybus heading out of town, passing the depot, which was the site of an 1890s tram route, about the second overhead electric route in the country, the first being Leeds, of course, in 1891. Although they weren't the first electric trams in the street, they were at Blackpool on the conduit system, and Blackpool has just celebrated its centenary. You can see here an older suburb which is slowly being modernised with a craze at the time, high-rise flats, which now everybody regrets them having ever been built. In fact, there have been cases recently of these things being dynamited and demolished. This is not a very popular way of life. We're heading out to a place called Bloxwich. Yes, that sign at the back is a legal requirement. Of course, people that ride on trolleybuses in museums today are amazed how quiet they were and wonder why they were ever scrapped. This is the other housing estate. Quite different from the lower farm one, with somewhat obnoxious children that would throw stones at buses, etc. Run up and down the stairs of the bus while it was waiting at the terminus. Different area entirely to the last one, yet it was only about 5 miles away. That's a bus turning into the depot.